The war on drugs, it's being fought on all sides. The military, the U.S., special agents, and the drug lords. Today, Tom Hansen continues his journey through Mexico, meeting up with local citizens who say they have no other choice but to pick up guns and fight for themselves.
In the heart of Mexico's capital, and in cities all over the country, thousands, after living a decade under violent rule of drug gangs and corrupt police and politicians, have found the courage to speak out and fight back. Their breaking point, when everyday people were willing to risk their lives, came back in September of 2014. That's when more than 40 students from the Ayotzinapa Normal School in southern Mexico went missing, believed to have been massacred by corrupt police linked to a drug gang.
These plaques are to remember students that have passed away over the years.
Angel de la Cruz can't get the memory out of his mind, an open wound that will never heal over.
I'll never forget what I saw.
He was one of the students who was traveling through the town of Iguala, in the state of Guerrero, when their buses were attacked.
They were surrounding us, shooting directly at us. I looked back at one bus, and it was completely shot. The aisle was covered in blood. There was a lot of blood on that bus.
6 were killed on the spot, and 43 others were loaded into cars and vanished, never heard from again. The incident sparked protest, police clashes, a fire within the Mexican people to demand an honest investigation, also calling on the U.S. to stop funding the Mexican drug war. According to government reports, the students were executed and their bodies were burned. Nearly 100 people were arrested in connection with the disappearance, including the mayor of Iguala, the town where the students were last seen. But an independent investigation says there's no evidence to support the government's claims, and since then the case has been reopened. Most Mexicans, like Angel, believe more people were involved, and true justice hasn't been served.
The government is responsible for what happened.
Do you think this act of violence was brought on by the war on drugs?
This crime is a consequence of the war on drugs that burdens Mexico. Politicians have to tie themselves to the drug cartels in order to win elections.
They say the government is paid off by the drug gangs and can't be trusted to protect the people.
They don't want to help us because they can, but they don't want to. Here we have no confidence in the government or the military.
That lack of trust is something felt throughout Mexico, especially in rural Guerrero. It's so dangerous here, the government and law enforcement have abandoned the people, so residents have picked up guns, forming their own vigilante militias called autodefensas. They say they're protecting the communities from cartel violence.
Good to see you.
Hey. We heard this area, a drug hotbed, was teetering on the brink of chaos.
Because these groups aren't sanctioned by the government, they have to work with what they already have, and that means old guns and very few resources.
Their youngest members, just teenagers like Edgar.
¿Por qué participas?
The war was tearing apart my home. I'm tired of the violence.
Es más importante proteger la comunidad.
Sí. He joined this vigilante group when he was just 16.
If we don't protect the people here, who will? If we don't do anything, no one will. We can't just sit here and do nothing.
But down here, it's not so simple. Some vigilante groups have been accused of working with the cartels.
About to go on patrol.
And the prospect of going on patrol with these guys was a little nerve-wracking. Getting shot at or even kidnapped was always on my mind.
In this area, there are a lot of heavily armed groups fighting for control of the same land, and that often results in shootouts. That's exactly what happened to this vigilante group recently. When you go on patrols like these, do you ever get nervous?
No.
Another group murdered one of your partners. Why don't you get nervous in these areas?
Because nerves don't help. It's much better to be calm in order to perform our duty.
They wanted to show us a prison run by their vigilante group, where a couple low-level drug traffickers were being held. One was willing to talk to us on camera. He says he had no other options to make money except by selling drugs.
There's a lack of opportunity in Mexico. There's a lack of jobs. The education we have, there's not enough resources and not enough money. I feel like I've let my family down. My kids. I'm stuck here, and I can't be with them. We're very poor. And no one else can provide for them except me.
When you travel around this area, it's hard not to notice the extreme levels of poverty and lack of opportunity. And that's actually why so many people turn to the drug trade. It's their only source of income and a chance at a better life.
A choice that often thrusts innocent people into the line of fire, like the residents of this home, which was the site of a shootout between vigilantes and criminals. Several people gunned down.
He's saying these are some of the bullet holes.
This region seemed like something out of the Wild West. Chaotic, lawless, violent.
Guerrero is a cemetery. All of Mexico is a cemetery. Wherever you look, you're going to find mass graves. Ayotzinapa is only the tip of the iceberg in all of this that's happening.
Which begged the question, what will be left of Mexico when the drug war is all over? Tom Hansen, Channel 1 News.
What was the scariest moment for Tom and Demetrius while on the ground in Mexico? Well, you can find out by clicking on Mexico on our interactive map and check out some behind-the-scenes footage that you can only see over at channel1.com.